Welcome to our Reycraft Books Fall 2024 new titles list. Before we jump into our Fall 2024 list, I want to highlight a few of our Spring 2024 star books that I hope you didn't miss. The first is The Day King Died with Two Voices and a Choir, written by Anne Bossum and illustrated by Solomon Hughes. This book takes a unique look at the last 24 hours of Martin Luther King Jr.'s life through expository text, excerpts from his final speech, and excerpts from his favorite spiritual, which was played at his funeral. The Boy Who Loves to Lick the Wind got a ringing endorsement from Temple Grandin, an autistic scientist. This book features an autistic boy and was written by a mother who has two neurodiverse children. And the last is the launch of a new chapter book series called Vampirita and the Angry Mob by Pora Belpré honor winner Mariana Llanos and illustrated by Laura Brendla. We have published this book simultaneously in both English and Spanish. The Spanish version is Vampirita y la Turba Enfurecida. This is a hilarious new chapter book series about a little girl who moves from Peru to sunny California, and all she wants to do is return to her vampire roots in Peru. She does everything in her power to convince her parents to move back. She does everything in her power to scare the children at her school and the townspeople. But like all great children's book, it doesn't quite end the way she wants. It ends the way that will satisfy the reader. And let's take a peek inside at Vampirita's new home. Some of her special abilities, and the townspeople who in the end welcome her to her new home. Vampirita and the Angry Mob and Vampirita y la Turba Enfurecida is sure to be a Halloween favorite, so make sure your libraries are stocked with multiple copies. And don't forget about some of our other Halloween favorites, such as Monsters Growling in the Background, which is a collection of classic and contemporary Halloween poems, as well as A Peculiar Haunted House, which was also on our Spring 2024 list. The inside book jacket of this book makes a beautiful Halloween poster. Now on to our Fall 2024 titles. We have two, not one, but two new additions to our Truth About series. You're probably familiar with Meow, The Truth About Cats, which is one of our top sellers and received a starred review. In addition, we have Woof, The Truth About Dogs, Ribbit, The Truth About Frogs, Who Knew the Truth About Owls, and Scurry, The Truth About Spiders. Readers love our covers of our books because the inside book jacket folds out into a beautiful poster that can be displayed in classrooms and libraries and in children's bedrooms. Now, what about our two new titles? The one that all children have been waiting for is Chomp, The Truth About Sharks. This entire series is written by Annette Whipple. Here you see her holding a giant shark tooth. It is 32 pages long. It is designed for readers ages 8 through 12, and the pub date is October 15th. Where do sharks live? How do sharks find food? Are sharks fish? These and other questions are answered by the author, along with some extra information provided by the sharks themselves. Let's take a peek inside. Each chapter starts with a driving question, such as whose teeth are these, followed by some detailed information and sidebars, which are written by the sharks themselves. These sidebars add a lot of humor. What do sharks' teeth tell us? Do sharks lay eggs? I was fascinated by the screw-shaped egg cases. I had no idea that sharks laid these egg cases. Will a shark bite me? We certainly hope not. And some incredible back matter with pages featuring sensational sharks, shark factor fiction, an experiment on buoyancy, and a detailed glossary with website links. Some key features of Chomp, The Truth About Sharks. It's about sharks. Who doesn't like a book about sharks? It has a strong science curriculum connection. It has back matter, including a hands-on experiment. It's a part of our popular best-selling series. The inside book jacket folds out to a really beautiful poster, and it combines both facts and humor. Our second book from the series is Flick the Truth About Lizards. Again, written by Annette Whipple, 32 pages, designed for readers ages 8 through 12, and the pub date is January 14th. Where do lizards live? Why do they flick their tongues? How do they change their color? These and other questions are answered by the author, along with some extra information provided by the lizards themselves. Who doesn't like leaping lizards? Let's take a peek at some of the beautiful pages inside and some of the driving questions. What is a lizard? What's for dinner? And here are some of the lizard friends that young readers will meet. Some key features of Flick the Truth About Lizards. It's about lizards, a very popular animal with young readers, has a strong science curriculum connection, includes back matter with a hands-on experiment. It's a part of our popular best-selling series. The inside book jacket folds out to a beautiful poster, and it combines both facts and humor. The Different Tree is a nonfiction picture book written by Elisa Boxer, who is an Emmy-winning journalist. She also is a recipient of the 2024 Sidney Taylor Book Award honor for her book, Hidden Hope. This book is 40 pages, designed for readers ages 7 to 12, and the pub date is September 3rd. One tree refuses to shed its leaves, but why? This book explains how nature takes care of its own as a tree who feels different from all the others, realizing its importance. As School Library Journal said, a worthy addition to a collection frequented by nature lovers, and a book that takes an unusual and welcome approach to the seasons. This is probably my favorite book on our fall 2024 list. Let's take a peek at the lush art and the lyrical text that's included. And readers will come to the conclusion, like it says on this page, there was always something different about that tree. Some key features, it's lyrical nonfiction by an award-winning author. It has detailed science back matter and a really interesting different is good message and a surprising neurodiverse connection, which is explained in the back matter. This is written by Elisa Boxer and illustrated by Mariaki Nelson. Beautifully illustrated. Love of the Half-Eaten Peach, inspired by a true story, a classic Chinese story, written by Li Wind and illustrated by Jie-Ting Chen. This is a picture book featuring Asian and LGBTQ themes. It is 32 pages, designed for readers ages 8 through 12, but certainly older readers will appreciate this book for its historical importance. The pub date is September 3rd. An epic and lyrical take on Wan, Duke Ling of Wei, and his beloved Meiji Jia, who shared a peach circa 500 BCE, inspiring generations of people to use the expression love of the half-eaten peach in Chinese to describe romantic love between men. What is remarkable about this book is that the writing is as beautiful as the art. I want you to take a look at Jie-Ting Chen's art. It's like stepping into a museum in China and seeing some classic pieces with a modern twist. This spread is breathtaking in the actual book because the gold actually shimmers on the page. Some key features: a love of the half-eaten peach, LGBTQ theme, a traditional Asian story, lyrical writing. There was a cover reveal by Betsy Bird at School Library Journal where you can see an interview by the author. And the author blogs about children's books, specifically LGBTQ themed children's books. One reviewer said, an epic queer love story, deliciously sublime, savor every word. Where Are You Going, Butterfly is a picture book featuring a girl who is homeless. It is written by Hunter Lagore and illustrated by Glenda Sperlin. It is 32 pages, designed for readers ages 5 through 9, and the pub date is September 3rd. A homeless girl collecting coins from passersby spots a beautiful orange and black butterfly flutter by and begins chasing after it. Along the way, she helps an old man, an artist, a mother, and her children, and a restaurant owner who in turn return her kindness. I do need to point out that the author, Hunter Lagore, wrote this book because at one point in her life, she was also homeless. Let's take a peek inside at the beautiful art by Glenda Sperlin. Some key features of Where You're Going, Butterfly. It's about homelessness, written by an author who was formerly homeless. It has a really strong SEL connection and shows the power of random acts of kindness. It makes an ideal read aloud for the beginning of the school year when we talk about how we treat our fellow classmates with kindness and how that kindness is repaid with the generosity and kindness of others. Mi Tierra is the first book in a new early chapter book series, the Amaya Nunez series, written by Adria Quinones and illustrated by Murnale Alvarez. It is 32 pages, designed for readers ages 7 to 12, and the pub date is September 3rd. This is a unique early chapter book because not only does it feature a Latinx family, but is also written in poetry form. Each chapter is its own poetic vignette. Amaya Nunez loves that no one else has her name. She loves her apartment and her busy New York City neighborhood. She loves when her abuelo visits all the way from Spain. She loves summer trips to Vermont and dinners with her tia and tio. But those aren't su tierra. Amaya's tierra has subways and bodegas, sidewalks and sprawling parks, and the most beautiful city sunsets. Su tierra is one of a kind, just like her. We are incredibly excited about this new early chapter book series, and let's take a peek inside at the beautiful poetry and art. My name is Amaya, which talks about the importance of one's name and one's identity. Tia Rosa Wants More Space is a beautiful poem about really loving the place where you live and valuing it before it's night. And many others. Some key features of Mi Tierra: it's Latinx, Puerto Rican, and Dominican. It's a poetry collection in an urban setting, New York City. It features really strong intergenerational relationships with grow and build through each book in the series. And it highlights the importance of one's name, one's identity, and one's sense of place. We are absolutely thrilled to be able to introduce to you the relaunch of an early chapter book series by none other than New York Times bestselling author Nikki Grimes. You may be familiar with her Diamond Daniels series, which was published years ago and way ahead of its time. It still has a huge following. Nikki has wanted to relaunch this series and came to us and asked us if we would relaunch it. And of course, we said yes. This is the first book in the relaunched Diamond Daniels Loser. It's illustrated by fine artist Uzo Nujoku. Diamond and her best friend Free compete over everything from sports to homework to setting the dinner table. Their bets are normally fun, but after Dynamite goes on a winning and bragging streak, things turn rocky. Free stops coming over. He won't return her calls. Then suddenly he starts hanging out with other kids in the neighborhood. With their friendship at risk, Diamond must work to follow her mother's advice. Sorry is good, but sorry can't fix everything. Let's take a peek inside at this early chapter book featuring an African-American group of characters. It's 64 pages, designed for readers ages 8 through 12, and the pub date is February 5th. Some key features of Diamond Daniels: written by New York Times bestselling author Nikki Grimes, African American. It's the relaunch of a former series with a strong following. It has an urban setting, and it's one of those strong friendship stories that children really love to read. We have the second book in our very popular Game on Zuri series. It's called Attack of the Robo-Bugs, written by Deshaun Zollicoffer and illustrated by Andy Potts. It's 96 pages. It's designed for readers 8 through 12, and the pub date is September 3rd. Features a cast of really fun African-American characters. Zuri and her two best friends jump into action again as a supervillain and his band of robo-bugs invade Hero City 2, the computer game her father is creating. It's a city far more dangerous than anything they've encountered, and a place where they discover their old powers no longer work. Uh-oh. Can they save the city, or will they forever be trapped inside? Let's take a peek inside. I've read this book so many times, and I never get tired of reading it. It is high adventure, high action, high fun. Some key features: video games. Children love video games, and these main characters get sucked into a video game. It's science fiction, action, adventure, a good versus evil tale featuring African-American main characters, and it's the second book in a very popular series for us. Speaking of series, we have the third book in the Sasquatch Hunter series, written by KB Jackson. It's 236 pages, designed for readers ages 9 through 14, and the pub date is November 15. This third book is called The Big Gray Man of Ben Makdud. The Sasquatch Hunters are at it again. Jake, Jasmine, and Lanny, with Ben in tow, are visiting Scotland over Christmas. They're excited about maybe glimpsing the Loch Ness Monster. But Jake is even more excited about the Big Gray Man, an elusive figure said to haunt the peak of Ben Makdui. Will the gang get a glimpse of the Big Gray Man? And even more important, will the hunt for the Gray Man distract Jake from his parents' impending remarriage? KB Jackson is an award-winning mystery writer, and this series has won some mystery awards. Let's take a peek inside. Here's some art to set that beautiful Scotland scene. And as you can see from the text, it is designed for older readers. Some key features: Sasquatch hunters. Who doesn't like a good Bigfoot series? Of course, in this book, these Bigfoot hunters are looking for a new and exciting creature. It's a mystery award-winning series. It's the third book in that series, and it's not only about hunting interesting creatures, there's also a lot of heart to the series. And this particular book focuses on some struggles the main character is having with his new blended family. Zam Zam, written by Karen Leggett Aboraya and illustrated by Susan L. Roth, is a Middle Eastern picture book, 40 pages, designated for readers ages 5 through 9, and the pub date is October 30th. Zam Zam divides his time between his grandparents' home in New York City in the United States and Alexandria in Egypt. While the two places are different in terms of sights, sounds, and flavors, they share much in common. But the most important thing they share is family love. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the beautiful art by Susan L. Roth. She is a master at paper cut art. And here's a peek inside at the different settings for this book, both in the United States and Egypt. Detailed, textured, gorgeous. Some key features of the book: it's cross-cultural, the United States and Egypt, an award-winning illustrator, and you see some of her books below for which she has won some awards for her art, and it features really lovely intergenerational relationships, along with some new words in Arabic that the readers will learn. Speaking of well-known authors and illustrators, there's probably no better known Native American writer than Joseph Bruchac, and this is a new middle grade novel in verse. It has 232 pages, is designed for readers ages 10 through 14, and the pub date is October 30th. It's called Border Patrol. The first person novel in verse follows Lily, a middle grade Mohawk girl who lives on the Akwesasne Mohawk Reservation, which is divided between the United States and Canada. As readers learn about her daily life and the history of her people, Lily spots a child floating in the river. She races to rescue the girl, only to learn that she is an illegal immigrant, a refugee from Myanmar. How will Lily get the girl back to her family and undetected by the authorities? This has a very contemporary theme, and it's very dear to Joe Bruchac's heart. As you know, Joseph Bruchac is tribally enrolled in the Abenaki Nation. The Abenaki Nation has a group here in the United States and a group in Canada. So there are groups in both countries. And sometimes there are some conflicts between them in terms of things that they believe and their history. But Joe has been awarded several commendations recently by the government in Vermont, but also by Abenaki tribal leaders for all of his efforts in revitalizing the Abenaki language and keeping his culture alive. Let's take a peek inside at this novel in verse. My Clan, Aunt Maisie's lecture, part one, taking people in. Something that's not ice, illegal alien. One of the things that's really interesting about this book is not only is it a really interesting and exciting story, but you also learn a tremendous amount about contemporary Native American life. Key features are Joseph Bruchac, the most prolific Native American writer today for children. It has a strong connection to culture and history. It addresses topics like immigration, which is a contemporary issue, and it's a beautifully written novel in verse. Check out some of Joe Bruchac's other books from Reycraft Books, such as Voices of the People, which is our book that has received the most awards and commendations, as well as Joe's early chapter book series, the Powwow Mystery Series. For young readers, it features two siblings who are traveling the summer with their grandparents as they visit powwows and solve these mysteries. It has hybrid text, which is a combination of narrative text and comic book panels. Freedom's Game, a middle grade historical fiction Jewish novel written by Roseanne Tolan and illustrated by Vali Mincy. Roseanne Tolan is a recipient of the National Jewish Book Award. This is 248 pages, designed for readers ages 9 through 14, and the pub date is October 8th. As one reviewer said, a beautifully told, important story, not to be missed. Ziggy doesn't know what to expect when he arrives at the Annemasse orphanage. It is 1942, and the Nazis have taken northern France. The orphanage is supposed to be a secret haven for Jewish children, but Ziggy worries that anyone around them could be a Nazi spy. Elka has already been at the orphanage for 3 years. Ziggy's arrival brings the excitement of a new friendship, but even more intriguing is the mysterious new gym teacher, George Longer. Is George a friend who can lead them to safety in nearby Switzerland, or a spy luring them towards the Nazis? Inspired by real events, Freedom's Game tells a courageous story of friendship, sacrifice, and the resilience of hope. Let's take a peek inside. You'll see that chapter 1 is written from Ziggy's point of view, and chapter 2 is written from Elka's. The chapters alternate between these two main characters in the book. There is extensive back matter about the historical context and the parts of the story that are factual, giving readers a really detailed look about the life of children during World War II. Some key features: it's historical fiction set during World War II. It's based on actual events and features Jewish children. It's an adventure story with spies and a lot of sports themes throughout the book, which many readers will enjoy. The author is a well-known journalist. One reviewer wrote, Tolan's thrilling, well-researched historical tale of heroism and hope is sure to touch young hearts. And we couldn't agree more. Soroya and the Lake Monster is the fourth book in our popular Soroya series. She's already discovered a mermaid, a dragon, and a yeti, and now Salima Ali Khan is back with her illustrators Atiye Sorabi and Jen Nachigar in the fourth installment of this series. It's 176 pages, designed for readers ages 8 through 11, and the pub date is February 18th. The mud, the bugs. Soroya is not sure she wants to be on an educational camping trip. Naomi had to drag her and Kristoff along, but adventure awaits the three friends when they meet a mysterious magical creature and learn of a terrible threat to the lake near their campsite. Soroya might even get the chance to be a nature-saving superhero, just like her comic book idol, Nimbla Mooney. Now, this is important because not only is this a traditional chapter book in one sense, but in the back, it has a comic book insert that is drawn by the main character, Soroya. And one of the reasons why this chapter book series is so popular. Take a look at some of our characters in the book, including the new monster. And don't forget, it has that comic insert in the back. Some key features. Middle Eastern and East Asian collaborators. It's the fourth book in our popular series. It's a mythical creature adventure, and who doesn't like a mythical creature adventure? And it has a comic book insert. And that's a look at our fall 2024 titles at Reycraft Books. I encourage you to come to our website and check out our other titles at www.reycraftbooks.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel, where you can see video interviews of our authors and illustrators, some book trailers, and also some full book read alouds that you can share with any children or students in your life. Thank you and happy reading.